Dr. Kira Voss knew something was wrong the moment she entered the enclosure. The Ryloth cubs, now 4 months old and considerably larger, were acting suspiciously innocent. Too innocent. All three sat in a perfect row, crystalline eyes wide, quills flattened in their most adorable configuration. "All right," Kira said, hands on hips. "What did you do?" The cubs' universal translator collars had limited vocabulary, but they'd learned one word perfectly, a chirping sound that meant nothing. All three chirped in unison. Kira walked to the storage locker where she kept her outdoor boots. The locker was open. The boots were gone. She turned back to the cubs. "Where are my boots?" 3 innocent chirps. 3 sets of crystalline eyes blinking with calculated cuteness. Kira had raised enough earth animals to recognize this game. The cubs were testing boundaries, seeking attention, and probably proud of their successful theft. At 4 months old, they were developing personalities and, apparently, senses of humor. She decided to play along. "I am very angry," Kira announced, putting exaggerated emphasis on each word. She crossed her arms and made her expression stern, though she had to fight not to smile. "Those are my favorite boots. I need them for important work." The cubs' quills lifted slightly. Their universal translators couldn't convey emotional nuance, but they'd spent enough time with Kira to read her tone. She wasn't actually angry, but she was pretending to be. The largest cub, Kira called him Spike, though his actual name was an ultrasonic frequency, tilted his head. His quills flattened again, this time in what Ryloth behavioral experts had identified as remorse. Spike stood, chirped something that might have been an apology, and trotted to the corner of the enclosure. He returned 30 seconds later, dragging one boot in his mouth. He dropped it at Kira's feet, sat, and looked up expectantly. Kira's heart melted, but she maintained her stern expression. "Thank you, Spike." But there were 2 boots. The middle cub, Luna, named for her silver quills, perked up. She glanced at Spike, then scurried off in a different direction. She returned with the second boot, placed it carefully next to the first, and made a questioning chirp. "Better," Kira said, inspecting the boots with exaggerated scrutiny. "But these are wet and covered in—" She sniffed. "Did you hide them in your water feature?" The smallest cub, Echo, the shy one, had been watching from a distance. Now she crept forward, carrying Kira's sock in her mouth. A sock Kira hadn't even realized was missing. Echo placed it gently on top of the boots, then backed away quickly, quills fluttering nervously. The 3 cubs sat in a row again, waiting. Kira let her stern expression crack. Okay, I forgive you." She sat down, and immediately all 3 cubs pounced, purring and nuzzling, seeking reassurance that they weren't actually in trouble. Dr. Telvan, watching through the observation window, was recording everything. "Remarkable," he murmured. They understood she was feigning anger. They comprehended the transgression, felt remorse, and made reparations. That's advanced emotional intelligence." His assistant pulled up comparative data. Most species don't develop that level of social cognition until adolescence. "The cubs are learning it at 4 months, Telvan said. "From a human. She's teaching them not just survival skills, but social contracts, boundaries, empathy." In the enclosure, Kira was checking her boots while the cubs helped by stealing her other sock. "You know what?" she told them. "Keep the socks, but the boots stay where I can see them, deal?" 3 agreeable chirps. That night, Kira found both socks neatly placed by her locker. Slightly chewed, but returned. She smiled and made a note in her log. Cubs developing understanding of ownership, boundaries, and apology. Also developing sense of humor. Today's prank, boot theft. Suspect tomorrow will bring new creative mischief. Parenting predator cubs surprisingly similar to parenting Earth toddlers. Everything is a teaching moment. Nothing is safe from curious minds, and socks are apparently universal targets. She paused, then added, "They're going to be okay." Not despite being orphaned, but because they've learned that family isn't just biology. It's care, consistency, and yes, even playful mischief. In the enclosure, 3 juvenile